Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the Perth Blue Baggers pod. My name is Louis, your host, and I'm joined as always by
Marty on special comments.
So finally, we have felt that winning feeling, and it's good to be back on the winners list.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the performance that we needed. It was a really strong all-round performance, albeit against a pretty substandard opposition.
Yeah.
But you can only beat who you play against. Really, the depth of talent and the difference between the two teams was really evident. This was a 4-quarter performance. You know, we won every single quarter. 3 goals to 1 in the first quarter, 4 goals to 2 in the second quarter. This is music to the ears of all Blues fans. 4 goals to 1 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And 6 goals to 2 in the final quarter. So we really did run on with it. So it was impressive. I would say, though, when you watch it, the lack of pressure that they put us under when we had the ball was really evident. I don't think we're going to get as much space against other opponents. Yeah. So there's still a lot of work to do. You know, we were inefficient in front of goal. We really should have kicked a lot more, etc. But hey, it's just good to be on the board. It's good to be winning, and I think that'll just help shake the nerves. I'll give you one example. Sam Walsh admitted that he was nervous when West Coast kicked the first goal after half time. That shows, that it does play on their minds. So having a good win like that, does bode well for the next month or so.
We sure do hope so. There's not much else to really cover, unless you want to go into specific stats or anything.
Look, there are some important stats to consider, and because we have complained about some things to date, but if you looked at the overall stats here, it's just really impressive. So we've got 421 to 281 disposals, so way more of the footy. But we had more inside and outside possessions, so almost double the number of contested positions that they had.
Yeah. But
we also ran harder and created space as well. But the only stat they beat us on was turnovers. So it's not a stat you want to win.
No.
But we're winning stoppages, we're winning clearances. The clearances were 40 to 18, so more than twice.
Yeah.
The number of clearances that they had.
Inside 50s was?
Almost double the inside 50s. In fact, more than double. 73 to 35.
Yeah.
If
anything, maybe we should have won by more then. And
I think we
our
probably
efficiency going inside 50 was 50.
Yeah, look, we
not
only,
as good as theirs.
We had worse inside 50 efficiency.
Yeah.
So only 50%.
What about goal?
We kicked 19 behinds, and some of them were pretty straightforward. So I think that they need a bit of goal kicking practice because, again, some of the other teams are not going to give you as many opportunities.
Yeah.
You got to take them better. So look, we were really pleased. It was a relief more than anything, I think, after 4 losses.
Yeah.
Be nice to play West Coast every week.
Exactly.
So the stats were certainly on our side. It was a very solid all-round performance. And I guess we'll come to all the players and some of the better players.
Well, yes, something you'll find with the player stats is that I reckon there's a significant increase in the amount of players that actually performed this time around.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah.
For good reason. So, some big numbers. George Hewitt, his career high 39 touches. 39 touches. That's really impressive.
Votes.
All right, so we'll get into the votes. I had 5 votes for Sam Walsh. Sam Walsh just dominated. 19 possessions in the first half, another 18 in the second. Kicked 3 goals. But it wasn't just that. He kicked, these goals he kicked were important, but he was involved in a heap of other goals as well. So he was really significant in score involvements. His clearances, 5 clearances, metres gained. He had a really solid all-round performance, I thought. Some of the people had been complaining that he hadn't had quite as much impact on games. I'll tell you, he was the most impactful player on the ground, without doubt.
Yes.
During the game.
Yeah. Set the tone early.
So 5 votes, excellent performance from Sam Walsh. George Hewitt, 4 votes. Like I said, career high, 39 possessions. A really solid 8 clearances. He was involved in a lot of metres gained. He's involved in a lot of scores as well. A really consistent game from a player who's having a really consistent season.
Yeah.
And he's got to be up there in the best and fairest at the moment, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So another really superb game for George Hewitt. I'd expect both of those guys to be in the votes. The other guy is someone who hasn't had such a good season so far, but exploded in the team. 3 votes to Corey Durden. 4 goals and just tons of pressure.
Yeah.
He was in everything. He was a live wire. He came to play. He just seemed to be in everything up forward.
Yeah.
And he's one guy that really did make his chances, make the most of his chances. So it was a fantastic performance by Durden. Apparently, the main reason why he's brought back in was his pressure and his intensity and his effort, and we saw plenty of that on the weekend. So he plays like that. He's just a dead set certainty to be picked every week, I would have thought.
Yeah.
So well played for Corey. Look, I'm going to give JSOS 2 votes. I think he had another really consistent game down back. He just seemed to be in everything. It's not always about the stats. His stats won't look that impressive, but he was just really consistent, kept on beating his opponent, a number of important intercepts. Thought he had another really solid game.
I think he got 4 intercept marks, maybe. Or was that Wheaters? Yeah, that was Wheaters, but never mind.
Yeah.
But it was still very solid.
Yeah, I thought it was very solid. Sometimes when you're playing down back, your stats don't tell the full story of your impact, basically.
Yeah.
So very impressive.
So,
and look, I thought Adam Chera had a pretty good game. He's probably overshadowed a little bit by the other 2 forwards, but 3rd highest possession getter on the ground, 8 clearances. He was in the midst of 5 tackles, which is impressive. He was in the midst of everything too. A pretty solid game from Chera as well. So he got my 1 vote.
nice. Mine does not vary much within the top 3. So with 5, Walsh, 4, Hewitt, 3, Durden. 2 have gone for Patrick Cripps. I really liked his impact up forward, Dangerfield-like. And then Mitch McGovern also silenced critics, so he'll get my 1 vote. He was very solid down in defence as well, so hopefully that gives him a bit of confidence. And also Nick Haynes was similar. So who have you got for underrated?
Well, I thought it should go to Matt Carroll on debut.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. Again, his stats won't tell the full story. He's just a really consistent player today. Just the 12 disposals, all kicks, but 8 marks. I think he had quite a few intercepts. You probably got his intercepts there. He was just really solid. I thought. I just liked his composure with the footy, and he just seemed to know where to be. And I was really impressed with him coming in. Apparently, he'd had very good VFL form. This is a guy who got delisted at the end of last year.
Suffered injury setbacks throughout last year too.
Yeah, so isn't it good to see him in the game and in the team and performing well?
Hopefully, he found a bit of a gem. His kicking was exceptional, pretty dead eye. I
think his efficiency was pretty good.
Yeah. Why not we give some mentions to some other players as well? Why not? Adam Side was good in his 200th game. 25 disposals, 7 marks, 9 score involvements, 445 metres gained and 7 inside 50s. Like I said, Nick Haynes was good, 90% disposal efficiency for him. Ollie Hollins was solid, 17 disposals. Matt Cottrell, 19 disposals, 9 score involvements, 10 inside 50s, which I think might have been career high for him. 8 marks and 2 goal assists. So good job. And Wheaters as usual. 15 disposals, 4 intercept marks, 11 intercepts, 93% disposal efficiency, 4 score involvements and 4 1%ers.
there's a good indication, right? With Wieders is having a great season again, right?
Yeah.
15 disposals, but 11 of those 15 are intercepted
Yeah.
disposals. That's huge. That's huge. That's not cheap kicks off half back. That's intercepting your opponent's forward thrust.
Yeah.
So that's a fantastic highest on the ground. And Jack Savani had second, by the way. So with Nick Haynes. So really, Wieders again. He just keeps on being Wieders. Really, another really solid game from him. But you pointed out a number of players that played really well, and if we can see that kind of performance week in week out, we'll be really impressed. It was some of the non-usual suspects that you just mentioned there that made a big difference.
Yeah.
So we need that kind of performance week in, week out.
Very much so. So let's get into the preview of our round 6 Good Friday clash with North Melbourne.
Well, I mean, North Melbourne, they're not as bad as West Coast. I think we can say that much. But having said that, they still are, still a dweller. They've won just one game, so have we.
Slaughtered a few times.
Got smashed a few times. Look, we're only one above them on the ladder. We're 14th and they're 15th. But I think there is a stat that helps us here. Our percentage is 103 and theirs is 80.
Yeah.
Really, we've been probably falling just short regularly, whereas they are getting well beaten on occasion. I think they've shown more fight than, say, West Coast and Melbourne have.
Yeah.
But even so, this is a must win. This is the game that you really should be winning. But you can't take teams for granted. They're not as bad as West Coast. They've got a bevy of young, talented players, your Finn O'Sullivans, your Harry Sheasels, your LDUs, etc. They've got plenty of talent, and particularly running through their midfield. Yeah, Deadeye, Nick Larkey as well.
Paul Kerr's been good.
So they've got their players. And what I've tended to notice with North Melbourne is they're usually going 2 to 3 quarters. They usually, it's quarter to a half a game where they're falling away. And that's where we'll need to make the most. And we can outscore them, say, 5 or 6 goals to 1 in one of the quarters. That helps. But I would really like to see another 4-quarter performance from us.
Yeah, and hopefully we show a bit of... Maybe it might come down to skill level as well. That's what sort of divided the two teams last time we played against them.
Yeah, I think they had as much of the ball as us, but we just used it more effectively.
Yeah.
And that's part of that experience, I think. With our list and where we think we're at in terms of the premiership, these are the sorts of games you just have to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the pressure will be on us, but I think having that win under our belt against West Coast will give us that bit of confidence. And, if you start getting on a bit of a run, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So
I won't believe unless we beat, what's it, Geelong after?
Yeah. I think they'll tell us where we're at.
Yeah.
But, if we win this one, we're 2 and 4.
And you got Adelaide after that one, maybe?
Yeah, 2 and 4. So,
And then St Kilda. And then
that'll be an interesting suite of matches.
Yeah.
I think Adelaide are doing pretty well this year.
Yeah, so hopefully we can, just need the 4 points, really. Doesn't really matter how much we win by.
Yeah, I think the margin doesn't, but how we play does. Like, I would be really disappointed if we have a second half fade out like we've done most of this season. That's why I'm talking about 4 quarters. It's really important that we put in a consistent performance across the match, and probably make the most of our opportunity. Having lost those first 4 games, percentage might end up mattering.
Yeah, it might.
So you hope that's a really strong all-round performance.
Yes. I think that's all we really need to say apart from predictions.
I will say one thing, one slight negative that came through, of course, is Harry got concussed.
Oh, yeah.
And Brodie Kemp appears to have done his Achilles. I guess we'll wait and see on the scans there.
Appears to be ruptured, which we did a bit of research, and it seems like 9 to 12 months or something like that.
It could be shorter. It depends. I mean, we won't know until we get a proper diagnosis. But it's possible it could be out for the season. I hope it's not that. Yeah. That's not the case. But that's a bit of a blow. Again, poor old Harry can't seem to take a trick this season, but we want him on the field, and he probably needs to get a few games under his belt before he's playing his best. While we're on that, Charlie Curnow, he was a sort of oh-so-close game for him.
Yeah.
He showed glimpses of the stunning form that he's had previously. Just wasn't quite there, and couldn't quite string all of it together. But I think he's building. I've got a feeling that he's going to have a breakout couple of games shortly.
Here's a big watch, yeah. Predictions.
I'm going to predict us by 6 goals. I think
That's
we can.
nice, yeah.
I think we win by 36 points. A fairly comfortable win. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to have a bigger win than that.
Yeah. I reckon it will be maybe a 22-point game, I guess. I feel like it'll just be a little bit more close than that, I guess. Don't know.
Right.
We'll see. And so you're expecting Curnow to, fire?
I think so. I don't know. I think we are expecting at least 3 or 4 goals from him. I reckon, against a younger team like that. I reckon Sam Walsh. I reckon he's flicked the switch now.
Oh, yeah.
I reckon he's going to have another big one.
That's good. One more question. If we, lose 2 tools like Harry Mackay and Brodie Kemp, who comes in? Would you prefer Lewis Young and Pitto, or Lewis Young or Pitto, or someone else?
Look, it's a bit of a tough one. I don't know that we've got ideal replacements for those guys. I think they might use Lewis Young.
Yeah.
Because, Pitto's great as a backup, and if heaven forbid something happens to TDK, he's straight in there. I don't know if he plays any other position other than ruck.
He hasn't had a VFL game under his belt because I think they must have had a bye this weekend.
Yeah, I would think it's probably Lewis Young comes back in, I'd say. And, I keep saying it, but I think with 2 talls out, you put 1 tall in, you put 1 small in, and we're actually better off because of it.
Yeah, maybe Boyd can come back in.
Or look around for someone else. I mean, I thought Cooper Lloyd, who wasn't even intending to play. Akers withdrew last minute.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's always a chance that Akers is back, actually. So Lord might keep his position. Akers comes back in. And then, because there's 2 outs probably, Mackay and Kemp, that Akers is back in, and then probably someone like Lewis Young.
Yeah. So, what was it? Matthew Carroll, Will White, and Cooper Lord will get their first goals on that weekend.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really good. I think Will White had missed a few.
And it's taken Cooper Lord quite a few
games as well. No, it's good to see those young guys, they need to play games of football before they're going to play their best football. I thought Cooper Lord was a little bit stiff, sort of coming in and out of the team all the time.
Yeah.
And with the longest stint on the ground on the weekend, I thought he showed a bit.
Yes. I think that's all we need to really cover then. Keep getting a little bit sidetracked. Thank you for sticking with us. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and subscribe to us here on YouTube. Thank you very much for listening. Up Baggers.
Calm the Blues.